thank you once again for joining me on this sometimes lonely, yet always in some other way, collective journey towards resilience. I say lonely only because right now it's just me speaking to you. You speaking to yourself, and ideally you speaking back to me. That's why I say lonely. Not that it's, that morbid or depressing, but to me, it's humbling. But also remember the other side of that coin about courage. Humility on one side, confidence on the other. Same coin for me, particularly when you're spending money, currency on your resilience. Today's topic is called Love Everyone, but Trust No One. Now, if you've been with me before, maybe go back a few more months on the other podcast episodes where my son introduced me to an epiphany, a mind-shattering, heart energized statement about love everyone. Again, after 6 decades of not ever accepting or hearing that from my own son, that was stunning. Made me sit down, like, what the heck? However, as it's been marinating and settling in and breaking down these barriers that I created for myself on love, it's becoming easier. And that was a big hurdle for me to get over. Oh no, to still climbing over. But then I was hit with this one by my mentor, Mr. Tamba from Sierra Leone, and told me to trust no one. Never heard that before. And by nature, I would tend to do that. I would trust, just by nature, everyone that I would ever meet. I would say that. No, I wouldn't say it. I would do that. That was my mindset, but even my heart set. I would not trust you. Now, if you're a total stranger, or if you're a guy coming at me with a weapon, I probably wouldn't trust you as much, but it's a whole different dynamic. Now it's time for action. There's no negotiation, but sometimes there is. But in a way, I would trust that you had the better mindset to not use that weapon or use those offensive words or that posture, male or female, that you're bringing to me. I still would trust maybe in you or the power within both of us that brought us here together in this moment in time. I would just trust that this would work out for the best for all parties involved. Maybe it's my time to go. Maybe it's your time to go. Maybe nothing happens. But that was my default, reaction or response to an unusual or new or just different environment. I would never distrust. Not never. Hard to say never. 90% of the time, I would just trust openly first and then pull back on that trust. But this statement about trusting no one, I'd heard that, like for example, in passing, and even me being an avid back in the day, X-Files viewer of the episodes, X-Files, the movies, everything, Mulder, Scully, love that stuff. I remember some of the episodes would open with that statement after the opening title, the characters, and then the music. This will pop up. Boom. Trust no one. Again, I saw it just as a part of the movie, part of the show, part of the episode. I never took it in as a mandate or a guidance. Everything you hear and encounter is like that. Sometimes it's the repetitive things you hear or the occasional images that come across your mind screen in your heart screen, you might not recognize them until maybe the 10th or the 10,000th time you see it. And that's what happened to me talking with Mr. Tamba about trusting no one. And this will return to part one of this trust no one discussion. Part two will be the actual conversation with Tamba. But I had to, and still am wrestling with that, to trust no one. I remember back in the, I think it was mid-'80s, late 80s, at that time, I think it was President Reagan had said this. You always trust and verify. Trust and verify. And that was probably my mantra or my metric as a combat leader in the Army, and then post the Army in the corporate side of life and in my current job now. That's how I proceeded through life. Trust openly at first as a default, but also to verify. But now, after discussion with Mr. Tamba, trust no one. Not that it seems easier. It's definitely a total heart set for me to trust no one. But also goes back to what Mr. Tamba told me a year or so ago about when I asked him the question about what is my purpose? Why am I even here? Why are we here as people? And he said this without any hesitation. So 6 words. Go. Ask no question. And die. So when you hear what he tells me about trusting no one, you see how that resonates with those 6 words. They told me among the millions of words of guidance he's given me over the past 2 or 3 years. Those 6 words and trusting no one in some backwards way also verifies or provides the verification of the very love I had to learn from my son about loving everyone. I know it seems like a stretch. I'm trying to put 2 things together, love and trust, in one conversation. 2 different avenues get there. One you don't take, trust no one. This one, love everyone, you must take, or I must take. I know it seems like a hard way to connect these 2 soft areas of life that are essential, yet 2 different routes to get there. To me, it also talks about simplicity versus complicity. Simplicity versus complicity. So we'll get into that a bit in part 2, but just as this intro, I'll close it here. Consider that opening statement in part 1. Love everyone and trust no one. All right, until part 2, stay safe, stay present, stay current. Please remember where your heart is always 820.